now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
On behalf of the entire Obama family, I want to wish you and your families across America and around the world a happy Diwali as you celebrate the Festival of Lights. I've been proud to host Diwali celebrations at the White House and be the first president to light the Diya in 2009. When Michelle and I visited India, we were able to join in Diwali festivals with some wonderful children in Mumbai. It was a reminder of the traditions we share across continents and cultures.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare.
You know, it's nice having a multicultural president. It really is. Every religion, every race is not equal. Some are more superior than others. In fact, when you have a multicultural president, some animals are more equal than others. If you read your Orwell, you know the reference I'm making. If you didn't, I pity you. And I never met a Hindu I didn't like, by the way. I've always gotten along with Hindu people, and I've had Hindu friends, incidentally, in real life, real time. And I don't just mean in Indian restaurants. I lived in Fiji, where half the population were Indians and Hindus, and I learned something about the Hindu religion. And I respect greatly the fact that Indian people come here, and in one generation or less, they're winning spelling bees. And it's not about that. It's about a nauseating bending over backwards to gush over every religion and every race in such a childish way. Anyway, welcome to the Savage Nation. It's between me and you. Churchill said this: everyone is in favor of free speech. Hardly a day passes without its being extolled. But some people's idea of it is that they are free to say what they like. But if anyone else says anything back, that is an outrage. We all know what's going on in the campuses. We all know who they are. I told you that they are the Red Brigades, the Red Guard of Mao Zedong Obama. Some housekeeping. I want to thank you, and it's an important point. Government Zero debuted at number 3 last week on the New York Times bestseller list. I actually beat Trump, whose book only debuted at number 5 last week. Or was it this week? I'm not sure. And I have virtually no machinery behind me. None whatsoever except the truth itself. So thank you for supporting the Government Zero message. And I want to talk about Donald Trump's candidacy for a minute. I still support him, but he is far from perfect. Just as people continue to extol Ronald Reagan as perfect when he is not perfect, no one is perfect. No person, no politician is perfect. You can't make Donald Trump into a perfect candidate or a perfect man. I don't think he asks you to do that. He is far from perfect. But he may be our last hope as a moderate nationalist. And I have this question which I ask myself. Which candidate would have the guts to drop a tactical nuclear weapon on ISIS if it comes down to that? Do you think anyone else but Trump would have the guts to do it? I don't. And now I want to go on to something very important in this age of fascism on the college campuses and the age of lies coming out of the government media complex. And it's about white male inventions. And if you can disagree with anything I'm saying, give me a call at 855-407-2882. But how do you explain that trains, planes, cars, rockets, telescopes, tires, telephones, radios, television, electricity, atomic energy, computers, and fax machines were all miracles made possible by the minds and spirits of men with names like Ampere, Bell, Caselli, Edison, Ohm, Faraday, Einstein, Cohen, Teller, Shockley, Hertz, Marconi, Morse, Popov, Ford, Volta, Michelin, Dunlop, Watt, Diesel, Galileo, and other so-called dead white males. I hate to disappoint my friends on the radical left, but it has nothing to do with the Democrat Party. And what I'm about to say is tantamount to blasphemy in this politically insane day and age. Yet truth is truth. How long are we going to pretend that dead white males gave us most of the inventions that we all enjoy on this planet? How about the revolution in electronics and computer technology? Is that not a result of the dead white males? Isn't it true for all of our booms throughout history have the same origins as this one? Just look at the names in your history books and their national origins. The great majority of booms, past and present, have been brought about by the genius and inventiveness of that most despicable of genders, the dreaded white male, or to be exact, by specific individual white males. Now, this is not to discredit the many contributions coming from non-whites and non-white males, but fact is fact. Our most important and consequential inventions have come almost exclusively from white males. Now, you can curse me or all white males if you wish. That changes nothing. But if you call me a liar, you'll have to come up with the proof that I'm wrong. Remember, I didn't say there were no important contributions by non-white males. I said the overwhelming majority. Now, of course, I know about such things as the Chinese and gunpowder, but they didn't take it much beyond firecrackers and pyrotechnics. And, of course, I know about the pyramids and the masonry of South America and the zero of the Arabs. But would we have atomic physics and electricity if it hadn't been for the ancient Greek philosophers who, for example, had the idea that all matter consists of tiny atoms? That was Aristotle in the 5th century BC. He used electrical charges to treat gout. Archimedes, another Greek, perceived the center of gravity of solids, cylinders, and spheres. And from the basic discoveries of Greek civilization, it went to the Romans. And after the fall of Rome, it passed to later Europeans, who expanded on the scientific knowledge. In modern times, these ideas were developed by such Europeans as Volta, Ampere, Watts, Bell, Edison, and Einstein, who provided the basis for most of the technical wonders of today. And all of them are hated because they're white and male. Now, maybe you got your enlightenment from one of the Ivy League institutions of this education. Maybe they taught you that it's all the result of white racism and oppression. That every time a potential Einstein, Edison, or Ford popped up in the third world, a white hit squad would swoop down and eliminate him before he had a chance to prove himself. Or maybe their schools refused to teach him in another language. Or maybe they didn't have proper daycare facilities. Or maybe they were oppressed emotionally. Or maybe our would-be innovator came from a dysfunctional family. But the facts tell us that many of the great men pursued their genius at great personal risk, like the astronomer Galileo, who proved that the earth revolves around the sun. He and other men of genius and courage refused to be suppressed, even if it meant their lives. They would permit no race, no gender, no group or class to keep them from their pursuit of truth and excellence, whatever the cost. I warn you, if you eliminate, suppress, or debase the white male, you will kill the goose that laid the golden egg. If you ace him out with affirmative action and the fascism of today's colleges, if you exile him from the family, teach him that he's a blight on mankind, then bon voyage to Western civilization. We will devolve into a third world cesspool. Where has there ever before in history been a group of human beings who have brought about the likes of the Magna Carta, the U.S. Constitution, and the countless life-saving and life-improving inventions that we now enjoy? Now, it's certainly true that China did lead the world in technology and commercial inventiveness about 1,000 years ago. They had great coal mining operations. They had gunpowder. They had 6-masted sailing ships and intense commercial enterprise. But did you know that it all collapsed because the elites, the long-nailed mandarins, centralized control 1,000 years before Mao, crushed the expansion and inventions? Did you know any of that? Does this mean we should all sit back and let ourselves be governed by someone just because he's a white male? Of course it doesn't. It means simply that we shouldn't suppress anyone, including white males. Let our God-given gifts run free in a free and just society, free from the oppression and tyranny of social engineers. If anyone has gifts beyond our own, be he a white male or other, be grateful. Maybe we have gifts that in some small way can contribute something of value as well. One way or another, we're all in the same boat on the same small planet. Few of us have truly outstanding gifts, and most of us have to humbly accept that there are others around who are more gifted than we are. In a democratic society, it's not for Big Brother to decide who shall thrive and who shall struggle in the hive. I'm Michael Savage, and I wrote that monologue in 1999. I'm the only member of the American media who has been banished from the United Kingdom because of the oppression of the British Labour Party, No matter what anyone may say in the media, I'm the only member of the American media not able to go to Britain because they used the fascism that Churchill warned us against to twist my words and banish me from the English people. This is the Savage Nation. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. There's no America now because of the multicultural administration. Turn it off. Heard it too many times. There's no meaning. You know, the speech by Churchill that he's known for many speeches, there's one that's entitled, "We Shall Fight on the Beaches." And he gave that speech to the House of Commons that was known immediately as an historic speech. We shall fight on the beaches. And I got to tell you, my speech that I just gave you called White Male Inventions is actually in the same category as We Shall Fight on the Beaches. It's just as inspiring. It should be recalled and remembered long after I'm off the radio. Never forget what I just gave you. I gave you something that you should hold on to. And I want you to understand that I consider it to be an historic speech, especially since I'm proud to tell you I'm the only member of the American media who's been actually banned from entering England. Now, others may say that they're this and they're that, and God bless them. Good for them. But I'm telling you that I wear it as a badge of courage and a badge of honor, that not one person in the American media that you know of came to my defense when I was illegally banned from entering Britain in 2009. And it cost me $400,000 and I got nowhere. You know why? Because nobody backed me in the media. Nobody on Fox News. Actually, there was one person on Fox News who came out in my favor. You know who it was? At the time, it was Martha Washington. She did, actually, at that time, before she became too big to fail. Anyway, going back to today's topic, we're in very dangerous waters, because many people were admitted to campuses who never belonged there to begin with. They never made it based on their grades or their intellect or their intelligence. They were pushed ahead in every grade, and now that they can't keep up with everyone else, they're blaming everyone else for the fact that they can't keep up, and they're coming up with terms like microaggression. They're inventing stuff. They're inventing things, microaggression. Whoever heard of such a thing? It's nonsense. And the America that you know is dying, and the reason it's dying is because of the mentality that's emanating from the sickest administration in history. Dale on WTMA in South Carolina, go ahead, please. Dale, you're on the radio. Go ahead.
Dale, the unfortunate tragedy is that Asians and Caucasians are being discriminated against when it comes to receiving scholarships at major universities. Yes, the Muslims did contribute to much of what we refer to as mathematics and the number system, so on and so forth.
Whoa. What are you talking about? Did you hear anything that I said? Did you hear my great speech or not?
I heard part of it, and it was a great speech.
No. Well, what do you mean Muslims contributed to mathematics? They invented the zero, and then what did they do for 800 years?
Algebra, and that's the point. That's my point. That's all they have done.
Right. And what did they do for the last 800 years since algebra and naming the stars?
Nothing. That's it. That's my point. But my point in addition is that being a university professor myself, Caucasians and Asians are being discriminated against when it comes to being recipients of major scholarships at universities.
I understand that. Here in California, where I live, and I'm a proud graduate of the University of California, where I earned my Ph.D. in a very difficult field, by the way, despite what ignoramuses would say about me, those who have no idea of what I actually did. They discriminated against Asians at UC Berkeley because too many Asians got into UC Berkeley. And so they started discriminating against Asians and blocking them from entering because their whatever those tests are, SATs, and grades were too high. It's complete racism against Asians.
Absolutely.
And so I totally oppose that, because I've said for years on this show, I wouldn't care if UC Berkeley were 100% Asian if they did it based on grades. It wouldn't matter to me. And I'm not Asian. I'm in favor of excellence. That's all that matters to me. I think I wrote a book years ago called The Death of the White Male, back in the 70s or 80s. I don't remember when, a small book, The Death of the White Male, and I ended it by saying, without quality, there can be no equality. That was my favorite famous quote.